Kicking it off with Queen Bee, or Hive Queen, either works. Queen Bee was one of the 20. She was abducted by Brainiac and mutated, made into a powerful telepath with an extreme devotion to Brainiac. She thought she was his daughter. He turned out to be horrible, shocking, I know. He retreated eventually and just left the 20 mutated devoted people to perish. Some did, but most made it out alive, including, of course, the it girl Queen Bee. She came to Earth to prepare for his return in quite an interesting and modern way, using the Holistic Integration for Viral Equality social media company as a front. She would kidnap people that had psychic powers and then harvest their powers, so when the time came, the entire Earth could be taken over mentally. Some notable Queen Bee battles were against the Teen Titans, Red Hood, and Wonder Woman. She fights using her telepathic abilities, but has many other tricks up her sleeve, including flight, which makes sense if she's a bee, energy projection, intelligence, telekinesis, and casting illusions. She is also capable of regeneration. There are a few different people who have taken on the name Queen Bee. This one is from Prime Earth. She first appeared in Superman Volume 3/21 and has had about 12 appearances total. I don't know why I'm including this villain here because his name is a mouthful, but he's funny and cool. So here's Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is the type of person to only target and take out a specific type of human. Onomatopoeia's chosen genre of human is non-powered heroes. He calls himself Onomatopoeia because he imitates every sound he hears. Something creaks, he will make a creaking sound. I like to imagine that Onomatopoeia has a human voice, and when he is making the sound, it isn't a perfect replica, it just sounds like a man doing a poor imitation of a creaking door. But probably his suit is tricked out and has some sort of cool feature that makes him parrot things well. Onomatopoeia wears all black, which is good. If he is going to announce himself using his voice whenever he hears a weird noise, the least he could do is be hard to see. Onomatopoeia has been arrested quite a few times and has faced off against the Teen Titans and Robin. In total, he has about 15 appearances. Crystal Frost went from one cool name to another when she became Killer Frost. Killer Frost was a villain to Firestorm. When she was Crystal, she was a university student who fell in love with her teacher. Her teacher did the right thing and refused her romantic advances, but that hurt her feelings a lot, and she held a grudge like she was born to do so. Post-college, Crystal was part of a scientific project in the Arctic that went super wrong. Crystal accidentally got trapped in a thermofrost chamber. Her time in there made her into a colder version of herself, a killer version of herself. She can now project powerful blasts of freezing cold and generate cold from her body. Unlucky for Firestorm, heat does little to hurt her, it actually makes her stronger. She has displayed the ability to freeze water droplets in the air. This might cause an opponent to freeze in place or trap someone with ice. She can create ice daggers and create such a cold environment and impede someone's ability to think. I don't think you will believe her weakness though. It's cold. If she gets too cold, she will go into a coma. She will basically hibernate. Remember how I said she held a grudge against that one prof that didn't like her back? Well, her first order of business once turning into a supervillain was to attack him. Luckily by that time, he was already part of the hero Firestorm. This Crystal Frost exists from 1950 to 2011 and she had about 19 appearances. I would join this villain squad purely because of their name and then regret it later. They are the Snake Gang. Each member is based on, you guessed it, a type of snake. So we have Cottonmouth, Copperhead, Asp, and Lady Viper. Lady Viper is kind of like the team's leader, but they take orders from Oracle. The Snake Gang, they fight Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. That is also the name of the comics, Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. The villains have snake-esque powers to go with their names. Cottonmouth elongates in battle and grows fangs, similar to the snake he's based on. His mouth goes white and presumably is filled with venom. Copperhead is very strong and tries to get his arms around his victims to constrict airflow. He also likely has a venomous bite. Asp is kind of like the guy in the chair for the group who is also in the field. He's the one that stays in contact with Oracle and calls for backup when the gang needs it. Lady Viper has the ability to change her legs into a snake tail. When she does so, she can see in the dark. When she is in this half snake state, she hates bright light. She has claws, fangs, and an attitude. Copperhead has appeared the most out of the four with 31 appearances. Asp and Lady Viper are tied with 5, and Cottonmouth died in issue 3 of the comic, so he only had 2. Askana is an alien shapeshifter that primarily faces off against Hawkman. She debuted in Hawkman 2. She was an agent for Dr. Hogarth Kane. The form she usually appears in is like a human woman. For her big fight with Hawkman above the streets of New York though, she is stuck in this like green lizard looking form, but half her face is still human. In this form, she is very strong, punching through walls. She also has sharp claws. She is a Hawkman villain, but a bit misunderstood. The reason she fought Hawkman in in the sky was because she had to make sure he was a good fighter. He was. The reason she is on Earth is because she was wrongfully accused of committing crimes on her home planet and had no choice but to escape. Oksana has only appeared in the Savage Hawkman comics so far and has about 5 appearances to her name. Someone who is the same but different. We have Spinebender. He is actually a crime committer. He steals. He can get away with his crimes because he is also a shapeshifter. Spinebender has fought various members of the Bat family. He was first up against Batgirl when he stole a bunch of microchips. The chips were important because they had power that rivaled the chips powering the Batsuits from Q-Corps. He made it all the way to Miami before he was found out by Batgirl and Nightwing. He held a grudge against Nightwing for that and later went looking for him to try and eliminate him. In the scuffle between those two, Spinebender broke a street light that electrocuted him to the point where he should have died, but he didn't die. Spinebender is still out there and currently he has 3 appearances to his name. Animal Man's comics are weird enough, but issue 28 actually hurt my eyes to read. So the next 2 obscure villains are Front Page and Notional Man. Animal Man 28 is the first and last appearance for Front Page. He either was born with or grew into looking like the front page of a newspaper. He looks like if a mummy was wrapped in newspaper headlines instead of bandages. He holds his own in hand-to-hand combat and his weapon of choice appears to be a rolled up newspaper, but his main power is the news headlines on him. They mess with his opponents psychologically. Depending on who he is fighting, he is covered in disturbing headlines about that person. Usually it's covering their death. Seeing the disturbing headlines about himself activated Animal Man's animal instincts and he smacked Front Page with his own paper, and now the only headlines Front Page shows are about his own death. As for Notional Man, he made it to 2 appearances. He dressed in all white and is shown to have a heightened sense of smell, like he can smell feelings like guilt and grief and love. He carries around lots of surgical equipment that he uses to fight, his forceps being his favorite tool. Notional Man dresses in a very fashionable suit and I don't know why. His origin was that he was a phantom pregnancy. When someone wants a child so bad, they imagine they are pregnant when they really aren't. So he is essentially a phantom person. Animal Man also brutally takes him out and his body turns into sludge, I think. That's the end of it. Shazam and Cyborg had to work together to subdue Zookeeper and his Beast Force. Zookeeper is relatively new, debuting in 2016. He appears to have mechanical body parts and excellent fighting skills. He is the leader of a group of animal men. He calls them Beast Force. Some of the animals on his team are a pit bull, warthog, cheetah, bear, gorilla, crocodile, and tiger. He literally has a whole zoo of them. Any animal you've seen in a zoo, just assume they are on Beast Force. The animals all have armor and big guns, plus all the weapons their natural biology affords them, like claws and fangs or tusks. We don't see much of the battle with the animals, but we do get to see the final bit. Cyborg sends out a powerful blast, and Shazam is pictured perched on a pile of the animal men things at the end. Zookeeper is arrested, and currently this is his only appearance. Plastic Man's comics give us the gift of some of the most ridiculous villains, and I could not be more grateful. Today we are looking at Carrot Man. Carrot Man was in a live studio audience for the game show Let's Make a Steal. The audience for that show, usually they dress in fun costumes, so Carrot Man chose to wear a carrot costume that day. He started out as just a regular guy. The show's prize for the moment was a blender, and the person that won it was so excited she won that blender that she for some reason threw the blender into the audience. It smacked Carrot Man right in the head. It hit him so hard it awakened his inner evil, and that was that. He now had no choice but to commit a crime. Also, he passed out and no one cared. No one called an ambulance, so I don't really blame him for the inner darkness awakening. Carrot Man is new at being a criminal, so he announced on camera the crime he would commit and challenged Plastic Man to stop him. We know probably how the crime went. He went to jail. Carrot Man had a happy ending though. After escaping from jail, he hit his head again and went back to his old personality. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and make your mark on the comment section down below. Let me know your favorite DC villain from this list or not. This is Juliana signing off. Bye!